Hello, guys. I am Shane Davis, 20-year comic book veteran. I'm here with a beautiful, lovely, sometimes she has been known to make this here man a sandwich, wife of mine, light of my life, Yanzi Lynn.
Hi.
And today's day, we're talking about DC Comics once again not knowing how to sell anything that's Batman, so they're going to fans asking, do you even care? This just in, once again, DC Comics returning to the round robin tournament as DC Comics pits character against character, some more virtuous than others, to see, does anybody care about anything going on at DC Comics, decimated DC, in the bloodbaths, in this world of Batman-dominated titles? Do you even care about a Captain Carrot? Do you care about Wildcat? Do you even know who Wildcat is? Animal Man, could you give a F? Superboy, is he Superman? Is he Superman?
Yeah, they are calling him the Man of Tomorrow now. Get it?
Yeah.
For people who don't remember, last year, what DC did was they launched this, what they call this a round robin, but seriously, it's just standard elimination. They ran this contest and say, you, the reader, can choose what is the next book we're going to publish. So they put out 16 titles, some of them with pictures, some of them without, and said, okay, here are all these titles here. Actually, let me go ahead and pull that up. So this was the list from last year. They said, okay, now you can vote what book we'll make. And as you can see from the result here, Robins was the book they decided to make, but nobody's talking about it, are they?
Now, no, they're not. So obviously, and we're going to refer back to this here later in the article, but they picked it up this year a notch, and I'll tell you why. If we go back to, they invested more in this gimmick this year, this gimmick of, we don't know how to sell our characters. We don't know. They don't have their finger on the pulse of the DC fandom. They don't know what you care about anymore. They barely understand the characters they have and what to do with them. We have things like non-binary Flash. We have like bisexual Robins and Superman. Like, we don't know what to do. We do know how to capitalize on the LGBTQ plus community during Pride Month. We do understand that, but it happens to be, there's 11 other months in the year. Oh, wait, we got Asian and Pacific Islander month.
They didn't do it this year.
Yeah. And then we have Black History Month, which we couldn't get a one-shot out on time. That actually misshipped. So DC Comics is like, well, what do we do? Let's just throw it to the people. Let's let the people decide what books we should make, because we don't know how to do our jobs. And this is a product of downsizing. Now, DC Comics has historically documented here on this channel. Please hit like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications, guys. They have historically had about 3 bloodbaths. Now, how much can you cut to the bone? Well, some people's like, they can't cut anymore. DC Comics, they lost their real estate. They're out in the street. Okay, they're out in the street and they're asking people, like, they couldn't even make enough profit to stay afloat, basically. And right now they're like, does anybody want these? Now, where DC Comics did invest more in this from the previous year, and you'll notice there are logos made. Now, the logo designer on Twitter said he spent 8 hours designing all of these logos.
8 hours doing 16 logos. That sounds like someone just threw some designs at a dartboard or something. Actually.
Right. Yeah, it does.
And you know what the worst part is? Doing the logos, I don't think made this thing even better. I mean, I am having trouble reading this round robin thing. It's like horrible to read. So let's look at it through the article instead. Just quickly, briefly look at some of the titles that they have running up against each other. So we have Hawkman and Hawkwoman, the Changeling, versus Wildcats, 9 Lives. Who's do you pick for this round?
I don't. It's either a bird or a cat.
Yeah, this one is kind of hard to tell. All right, let's try this one then. The questions with Renee Montoya and Constantine and the Demon. Probably Constantine.
Yeah. But the questions could be very the questions could be non-binary and pronoun book. It could be very virtuous. Renee Montoya is part of the community.
But she's a lesbian, unless they want to add the non-binary tag to her.
Well, no, she's going to get out virtue signaled by these other vigilantes as questions. Like, they're gonna have bigger check boxes than her.
All right, okay. Match number 3 is the interesting one. This will be considered the big boys fight. It's Suicide Squad Dark, which is led by Vampire Batman. Sounds like we already know who's going to win this round robin thing. And Justice League Redacted, led by Green Arrow. I'm putting my money on Suicide Squad Dark.
I don't know. It does have Martian Manhunter. Or no, not even Martian Manhunter, just Manhunter. Okay, let's let's go on.
Oh, there's Manhunter and Cheshire and Metamorpho and Nemesis and Killer Frost. I swear half this roster is like
Metamorpho. I do like Metamorpho,
but
though.
half this roster people don't even know.
I know. Vampire Batman will win this, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Firestorm versus Kid Flash, which is Wallace West Kid Flash.
Either one, I don't really care. I would say people are gonna want Firestorm if they vote, just because they probably don't have a Firestorm book right now. But I don't think people actually want to buy a Firestorm book. That's what's sad. Some people are just gonna say, "I'd like to see this character return, so I can pirate it off the internet." They're not gonna buy it. And that's kind of the irony here, is going to the internet to vote, where piracy is killing comic book sales constantly. It's like you might as well just go to the bank robber or a burglar to ask what type of locks you should put on your doors.
Match number 5, Black Canary versus Green Lantern. All right, so this Green Lantern here is John Stewart. And Black Canary, I guess white woman versus black man.
Yeah.
I think we know who's going to win. All right. Match number 6, DC Horror presents Ghost Tour from Hell, which is Madame Xanadu versus Animal Man. Now, wait a minute. Wasn't there an Animal Man thing last year?
Yeah. And that's the
thing. Lobo Animal Man.
Yeah,
that was it. All right. Who do you think is going to win? It still sounds... This are kind of like the characters that people haven't really heard of too. It's like Madame Xanadu and Animal Man.
So. Well, Animal Man has a pretty big fan following from the Vertigo stuff, so I could see Animal Man winning this one. To be honest, yeah, I could see Animal Man winning.
I don't know. I just feel like they're both not really on the modern reader's radar at this point, but okay. All right. Again, hell, there's 2 Green Lantern books. Green Lantern versus Captain Carrot. Yeah, Green Lantern.
But this has Alan Scott, so this has a gay representation of the community, and versus a rabbit and his best friend Darkseid. Now, obviously, people are going to vote for, I would say, just because Darkseid's in the name, that one will win. And people kind of like the Zookaroo, believe it or not.
But see, last year they had this interesting book called Paws of the Justice League, which sounds like it's going to be, the Super Pets. And it somehow lost to Jesse Quick, the non-binary Flash.
Yeah, but people the people don't know what Paws of the Justice League was. Captain Carrot is actually like a recognizable thing. Like I could see the Captain Carrot thing coming through on this.
All right, and the last one, this one is probably going to win again. We can see who is the obvious winner. Superboy versus Cyborg. Superboy is enjoying a huge resurgence thanks to Superman, son of Kal-El, where he outed himself as, oh, by the way, I'm bisexual. I just kissed this pink hat activist.
And that's the thing, is this could generate, and this is a good example of why this is a bad idea altogether, is this could generate a lot of buzz or votes of people that they just like, oh, that's representation. I don't really buy comics. I'm not going to buy this comic, but I do feel like I should be represented. And I kind of want to just say, I'm not so sure that the comic book community they're going to online is actually the comic book community. I think it's like people that just are pop culturalists. They kind of like representation in pop culture, and they watch CW shows. Some of this stuff isn't going to translate to CW shows. And actually, DC Comics is desperately crawling up to people saying, can you tell us how to make comics that sell? What would you buy?
So looking at last year's charts, though, we can see definitely a lot of people crying foul over the whole JLQ versus Robbins thing. They said it's obvious Robbins would win. But in the end, they went ahead and made JLQ anyway, which right now, as we know, as Dark Crisis, which if you look at the lineup, is pretty much JLQ.
Right. A lot of people in the community on that team, and that's fine. But again, DC Comics, if there is a book here, and they're going to do it regardless, if they think it's a manufactured, it doesn't matter if there's fan interest or not. If there's a book that's probably in this list that they're going to do no matter what, and it's going to be virtue signaled and more, we're probably going to end up talking about it. So make sure to hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. But there is a title here that's going to be super shake the comic book people. It's going to be on the news. It's going to be controversial. And they're going to do it regardless if you vote or not. It's just been thrown in here. So it could take anywhere between 6 months to a year for a comic book company to produce a comic, and that's including the pitch. So a lot of these books are either going to be just scrabbled together to be put out because they were voted on and won, and they're not going to be very good. Or two, they're already are going to be produced. And I would say there's probably about 3 of these books, and in some way, form, or another, the plot or something, it's already going to be produced. I do want to point out, though, that none of these in title are Batman books, even if they do have Batman in it. Now, DC Comics is in a very fragile state where they own all this intellectual property. They can only sell Batman books. That's the only thing selling and making, like, what, the top 20, top 50 in some cases is either Batman related or has Batman in the title. No matter what you do to Superman, if you change his sexuality, all this stuff, he has a nice boyfriend that's transparent, has pink hair, it's on the news, Tom Taylor can't sell it. So DC Comics is obviously in a pickle, and I'm going to say why. They're being evicted. And what's the point of DC Comics and having a staff, all these lawyers, all of this stuff, when they're trying to make cuts with the new merger, if they can't sell any of the DC Comics library besides Batman? Because if Batman is the only thing that can sell, well, I can just go outsource this stuff. I can go third party this stuff, whatever you want to call it, to IDW, Boom, one of these companies, Dynamite. They will gladly print my Batman books if that's the only thing DC Comics can sell. And maybe to get the rights to Batman books, we can command that they sell 10 other DC books that we pick just to have the Batman license. These type of things do happen in the publishing world. DC Comics does find themselves in a slippery, tricky spot where, like, they have to start producing results with the rest of the intellectual properties at DC Comics. Now, what's also interesting, I have to point out, is copyright renewal and trademark. Some of these characters do need to be produced in a comic period. They all have a ticking timer on them that they have to have a resurgence in a comic book, and it's the cheapest way to do a resurgence so they can renew the copyright and trademark. That could be in the case of some of these characters, like, say, Wildcat. Could be in the case of, like, Green Lantern, Alan Scott, which it probably isn't. I don't know. I'm just picking some names here. Cyborg, Kid Flash, Firestorm. Firestorm's a good one. They have to keep these intellectual properties popular because there's probably an animated show, and maybe they're going to throw them in there or not, but they still need to renew some of these copyrights, like things like Animal Man not getting around a lot in video games and cartoons and stuff like that. So it's very important a book like that exists at some point in time, even if it's only for a one-shot, even if it's only for like a 5-issue miniseries. So anyways, guys, that's what's your thoughts on this? Who do you see coming out on the winner on this? And also, talking about winners, I got to point out, Inglorious Rex getting ready to hit $252,000, 700. We're about less than $300 away from that. 252 is in sight. I'm gonna leave you guys with the trailer for this comic book campaign, this juggernaut of a campaign. Go check it out, and I'll leave, we'll catch you guys again with another video. Hit like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. Catch you guys later.
Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6 cents for imposters, so now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the game. Can't control me.